Welcome, Ravens. I'm your host, Morrigan Raven, and you're listening to Raven's Ramblings. Episode 6, Body Positivity. Now, I need to start this podcast with a little bit of a warning. I have a special guest with me today, so we've changed things up a bit on the podcast over here. It's not going to be me sitting here reading an essay that I've written that I'm hoping that you're interested in. I've actually got a special guest with me. But before we get into that, I would suggest if you are maybe under the age of 16, this podcast might not be for you. And I need to put in some warnings that we will be talking about the following: nudity, mental health, possibly about depression, eating issues and disorders, dysmorphia, possibly going down the kink, fetish and BDSM route, but not too far, let's keep it tasteful. And we will be talking about prescribed medications. So, who is my wonderful guest? Well, it's not only somebody that I know from kind of the modelling world, but also as a friend. I'd like to call her a friend.
Yes.
This is the wonderful MissJigglePuff.
Jiggle, jiggle.
And she's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
So, today we are discussing body positivity and all the good things around being in the plus size world that we can do to encourage others to love themselves and not listen to the negativity.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to throw in here something's recently quite recently happened to me, I should say. By the way, we're going to do this in one take today if we can. So if I stumble over my words and you listen to my YouTube, you know what I'm like. It's going to happen. So recently I had a quick photo shoot taken. It was just a couple of pictures taken by the glamorous Griffin. And if you don't know who he is, he's my wonderful partner. And it was of a product that I purchased, and I'm not going to name who they are, but it was a product that I purchased, and I said, I'll take you some pictures, sent it to them, and they put it up on their Instagram post. The next day, I literally had 200 comments where about 60% of those comments were calling me words like disgusting, phrases like a heart attack waiting to happen, promoting obesity. I just want to put it out there, guys. I may be a little bit unhealthy because I have a full-time job that through the pandemic has had me sat on my backside, not going to the gym because the gyms have been shut, working 18 hours a day and not having time to exercise or the energy to exercise at home. However, I am not a drain on society, a burden on the NHS. I am not pilled up to the max on various medications because, I'm unhealthy. I'm actually a fairly healthy person. I have injuries, but my weight is no concern of yours unless it's sat on your face. And that is all I'm going to say on that one.
Yes,
so I told you this podcast was going to be a bit different and it's going down some routes. But anyway, enough about me. MissJigglePuff, tell us a little bit about you. Give us an introduction to who you are.
So I'm a 34-year-old, heavily tattooed, kinky bitch. Am I allowed to swear?
You can say bitch on this.
Okay.
Just don't use the F or the C word. I will get in trouble.
Okay, right. So I started my own body positivity journey and self-acceptance on Instagram under MissJigglePuff. I chose that because I do love Pokemon. I am a bit of a nerd because I jiggle when I walk.
I know nothing about Pokemon. All I know is one really bad joke about Pokemon.
Go on.
How'd you get Pikachu on a bus?
How?
Pokemon. Yeah, okay.
That's
we'll leave
really
that one there. You can have that one free.
I did laugh because I generally was like, huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we get it.
I'm terrible with jokes. But yeah, so I love Jigglypuff. I'm obsessed with Jigglypuff, who I believe is a non-binary Pokemon because we don't know if it's a he, she,
awesome.
they.
We like non-binary.
We love
we
it.
Can deal with that.
I am a pansexual myself. I don't care about the sex, the gender, the skin colour, if you're an alien, anything. And this is what I promote, basically. I also am bipolar. I also have anxiety disorder. I am medicated. And I was very unhappy in the world. And I just had a look around. And you know what? I was just bored. Yeah, bored. I wasn't even angry. I was just bored of seeing people put each other down. I was fed up of seeing just negativity about weight, gender, LGBTQ plus, all of that. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to put me out there, because I kind of have a bit of everything going on, and see what people's reaction is. And you know what? I am lucky that I've not really had any negativity. And if I have had, I've probably had more so when I've stood up for other people on their Instagram. And when I've had it back, I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. You're just boosting this person's algorithm. Keep going. Argue with me.
And that's what you were saying to me earlier when I was telling you what happened. And the strange thing is, that post that went up on that person's shop, and if you are listening, I do apologise that you had to put up with that.
No, you shouldn't apologise for it. Yeah.
Negativity and basically verbal abuse is probably the most I have had in all the times that I've done modelling shoots. I've had so much positive feedback about being plus size and putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And then this one photograph goes up on a company who went, look at what she's wearing on her shoes. And suddenly it's verbal abuse city on how I look.
Yeah.
Do you feel that things like not necessarily Facebook as much, but things like Instagram, where it is based around a visual thing, because obviously you can put a status on Facebook that's not a visual, but do you find with things like Instagram and TikTok now, not that I'm into that world particularly, do you find that it's become worse? Or
I think it's become worse for the trolls and the people that have nothing better to do,
the keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors, the people that are jealous. I do believe there's jealousy out there. I believe there's people who don't who are probably bullied or have been bullied, people that are probably unhappy in their homes, people that have been held down by family tradition, all of those things in the world. At the end of the day, you know, there is still the stigma around fat people, and I call myself fat now. I've taken back the word fat. I'm not completely fat all over. I am obese. I am in the obese thingy. I'm a curvy girl. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with being fat. Is the worst thing in the world to be a fat human being? No. I do not go to the doctor's half as much as I know other people do who are not as big as me. I take absolute, accountability for my body. I try and improve it. I have always struggled to lose weight. I have health conditions that attribute to this. I have polycystic ovary syndrome. That's one thing where you really struggle to lose weight. I also am on bipolar medications that make you gain weight, and also make it very hard to lose weight and make you ravenously hungry. I have told psychiatrists I'm not taking this anymore, and that was only when I was able to lose the 6 stone. And when you go through some of my modelling photos, which I'm now Miss Dolly Doodah on Instagram as well for that.
And we will link everything below, don't worry.
But I started it with MissJigglePuff, with the modelling, is because I just thought I'm going to kind of go through, and you can see how my weight fluctuates so much, and it is me as well, don't get me wrong. I love a chocolate bar, I love cake, I love chocolate, I love sweet things, but I love vegetables, I love fruit, I love potatoes. I'm part Irish. What Irish person is not going to love a potato?
I know where you're going with that one. Believe me, mashed potatoes, comfort food. Yeah.
And it also comes from eating patterns. I, don't have the greatest eating pattern sometimes. Routine in my life is very hard when you have bipolar.
Yeah.
So
routine's hard when you have a job like mine. I mean, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to eat until about 9:30 at the earliest, by which point I'm probably in a meeting or stuck on a customer call or in the middle of something. So it's going to be waiting for the sandwich van to come round at 10:30.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got other things going on and probably a phone call that you've missed. So it's probably 11:30 before I can get to eat. Yeah. And everyone will go, oh, but if you just had a slice of toast for breakfast, or if you just had cereal. I have tried all my life to have breakfast. My body rejects it.
Yeah.
So if I eat within 2 hours of getting up, I'll just be sick, because my body doesn't want that type of food that early in the morning. Yeah. And even if I have a smoothie, I have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
that I've left it a good
I have like that gag
90 minutes.
To it.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like it just does not want to stay in your stomach because your body's kind of still not ready
awake,
for that.
And exactly. And I think as well, I have insomnia as well. So sorry, it's just going to sound like I'm this sick child that lives in the corner rocking back
just
and
very
forth.
poorly, love.
Yes, yeah. I promise I'm not just this little, golem in the corner. But, insomnia I've had for 12 years now. I've been medicated half my life. And that's another thing. Not just medicated people have that reaction. I'm the same. I've never enjoyed breakfast. I will try to eat within a couple of hours getting up. But, whether I'm having a good day or bad day, I don't enjoy eating exactly the same as you. A good 3-4 hours after woken up. The most I can handle is maybe a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Or a cold drink.
Morning coffee. That's it.
Yeah. I'm a tea girl, but when my partner Sam was here from Italy, he'd make a mean cappuccino. I got quite used to a cappuccino with some Italian little breakfast biscuits, and that was fine. I could handle that. But any more than 3 or 4 biscuits, and I feel like I'm going to retch.
Yeah.
Because I can't handle it.
And I think this is, from my own experience, I mean, I'm larger than you are, but I have been a lot larger than I am now.
I'm 6 stone down now, but I put 2 stone on over COVID, and I now can't lose that again.
Yeah.
But I'm eating exactly the same diet, if anything better, and I can't lose a pound.
And I think a lot of people, I look at, when I was growing up, I had a family who, it was very much you eat everything that's on your plate. And like you said, when you come from that Irish background, portions were large.
Yeah.
And if you didn't eat it, you knew damn well that you were going to get it served up for the next meal because you don't waste food in this house.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of ingrained thing now, where you're certainly getting all these experts that say you only eat until you're full, then you stop. Like, was it that Paul McKenna that did that whole I can make you thin by changing the way you think?
Yeah.
And it was great. It was like, well, eat slowly, and then as soon as you're full, stop.
Yeah.
But when you come from a family, when you're 7 or 8 years old and you're being told you're eating the same as your dad and that's what you're given, and your portions are huge, your stomach expands. You get to that point where you constantly want that amount of food. I mean, even now, my portion control can be a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But I do try and curb what I eat.
Yeah.
And I also think, I think we know more now that I'm not saying there is a fat gene, but genetics has a lot to do with it.
Definitely.
I talk a lot, certainly in my YouTube videos, about, and I have done in my podcast as well, around my bingo wing arms and how I can't get blouses to fit because they're made for skinny arms. Jackets don't fit around the boobs, or where I've got a double belly.
Yeah.
It's that kind of feeling that you're the odd one out. But actually, when I look at my grandmother, and I look at my mum, and even my sister, and I've seen other pictures of other women in our genetic bloodline, we all have the same figure.
Yeah.
Now, my mum will tell you she's been to a doctor when she's quite large for her age as well. She's doing brilliantly for her age, but she's a large lady as well. And she went to the doctor, and one doctor turned around and said, nobody fat ever came out of a concentration camp. You eat too much and you don't work out enough. So after she nearly punched him for being so rude, my mum at the time was in the gym for 3 hours every single day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And she would eat literally for dinner a couple of slices of ham, and I'm talking, the thin normal sliced ham, maybe a couple of small new potatoes. And when we say a salad, we're talking 2 slices of cucumber, maybe 2 pieces of lettuce and a tiny bit of cheese. That was her whole meal. And she wouldn't even finish it because her stomach couldn't take it. But she's a large lady. So how is somebody who works out that much and eats so little?
Yeah.
When you look at somebody who suffers with something like anorexia, who works out that much and eats so little, she's had to do a food diary. And at one point, she was eating less than 600 calories a day. And they're like,
that's so dangerous. That's so dangerous. How can a doctor condone that?
She put on more weight.
Yeah.
She went to Weight Watchers and she went, I'm surrounded by people who admit that they would sit down and eat a 20-piece gatto. I couldn't even eat one slice without feeling sick.
Yeah.
So all the things they were trying to put her on, like pastas and all these things like rice, she said, I just can't eat it. And when she did go on a proper nutritious diet that was given to her by a professional nutrition, she gained 1.5 stone.
It's crazy.
And it's like, why do people not understand that some people just have a genetic body that is large?
Yeah.
You know, I've had fun taken out of me in the last few weeks about the size of my legs.
Yeah.
You've literally, in the last couple of hours, felt my calves. Now, are they muscle or are they fat?
They're muscle, yeah. And I have the same condition as well, like where my calves are muscle as well.
You can't get high leg boots to fit. You can't get socks, except Thunder Thighs, quick plug.
Yeah.
You know, thank God for companies like Snag Tights who bring out
Snag
things.
Tights, absolutely amazing.
But, you know, we're getting into this thing like that people still think you sit on a couch all day and don't go to work. You sit and eat fried chicken for every single meal.
Well,
you live off milkshakes and full fat
example.
Coke.
I live by this. I went to Slim and World when I was on a medication called olanzapine. People with bipolar, schizophrenia, we get given this medication. Okay, it's an antipsychotic. I like to quote these medications because I know there's people out there that are on this. Don't feel alone, okay? And also please be scared to go to your doctors, your psychiatrist, your support coach, your care coach, and say, look, I'm not alone. I've put so much weight on with this medication. I used to be a mental health support worker before I lost my job due to a breakdown. This was back in 2014. I now just do a cleaning job. I started this job in May. Now, my body has become a little bit more defined. I said, since I lost my 6 stone, I put 2 stone on over COVID. Now, I started my job back in May. My body has become a little defined and I've lost some inches. I have not lost a single pound in doing 3 hours on my feet, heavy cleaning at a school. Okay?
Well, I last saw you when? October last year?
Yeah.
October 2020. We're now September, so it's been nearly a year.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say you've got a better defined waistline now than you did when I saw you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Much better.
Yeah.
You've almost got that little nipped-in waist look.
Yeah.
Whereas I know when you did the shoot, because we did a photo shoot together.
Yeah.
Not together, but in kind of a group.
Yeah.
And you did that wedding
Halloween
dress one.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but if you actually look at your pictures, you're quite up and down.
Yeah.
Whereas now you've got that waistline.
I did, exactly. And I was actually lighter then.
Yeah.
I was actually nearly 1.5 stone lighter in that photo.
But you would have built up muscle, and muscle is heavier than fat.
Exactly.
And that's another thing people don't get.
Don't even get me
If you go into personal training and you're trying to lose weight, just for anyone out there that may be on a weight loss journey, if you are a larger person and you're trying to lose weight and you are being weighed every session, ask them to stop weighing you every session and ask them to weigh you once a month, because the initial build-up of muscle underneath any fat you're trying to burn off will make you instantly heavier.
Yeah.
So it is going to literally affect you mentally that you are not losing weight and get you into a very unhealthy thing of this is not happening.
Yeah.
And I think this is why diets don't work and why people start these journeys of weight loss. And I know we're going kind of off on a tangent here. But I think people start these weight loss journeys and they go, I must go to the gym and I must do this. And they do it, but they're weighing themselves every day. I mean, I did it. I got religious about weighing myself.
I did.
And I think it's that education needed around actually weigh yourself at the beginning and then don't weigh yourself for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months. Because you're going to build up muscle, which weighs heavier, before you burn the fat off.
I actually completely dispel. I completely dispel the scales. I now do not use scales at all.
Don't blame you.
When I first lost my 6 stone, I was obsessed. I was like, oh my god, I lost a stone. Oh my god, because I put on 4.5 stone with olanzapine. Okay, in the space of 3.5 months. Yeah, 3.5 to 4 months. Okay, I now have sleep apnea, as I was telling you. Because of this, I have more health issues because of putting weight on from medication I need for my mental health. Now, I definitely needed it because I'd had a breakdown. I was very unhappy for 4 years. I did not want to be here. But that medication, I did not even realise how much of what I call myself a potato I looked. I looked like a kawaii potato, right? And I was like, I went to my cousin's wedding in Cyprus. And I was like, oh, I still look cute. I had my hair curled and everything. I look back now and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I could not even see my chins from my face to my chest. I was just like, wow. And I still look at that photo and I'm like, it's fine, because I now have self-acceptance.
Yeah.
But now, when I lost weight, I became so obsessed with my body, and I did not like what I saw when I lost the weight. I could look at that photo and still like myself, even though I was bigger. When I lost the 6 stone, obsessed with my body. Don't like this, don't like that. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, I had dysmorphia. And I didn't even realise it until I set up MissJigglePuff. Now, your question earlier was, why did I set up MissJigglePuff on your paper? Because my niece, one of my nieces, she was struggling herself with some bulimia. And she finally came to me and my mum and told us, and I supported her through that. Of course, I did not make her feel bad. I said, you know what, let's get this sorted. She'd been bullied a lot anyway, and I was like, let's get this sorted. So I went with her to an eating clinic, and I was, again, like I said, just fed up. What is it with all these false idols out there as well, who are like, Kim K is one of my big dislikes. If you want, I've got a big fat ass, and I like my big fat ass. If I ever lose weight, I still want my big fat ass. Don't take that away from me, because you know what? People pay to get those these days. They get fat sucked out from one place to get it in their booty. And I'm like...
And isn't that funny? Because I was watching the other day, totally forgotten her name on YouTube, Luxaria. And she was talking about, because she does the reviews of like plastic surgery.
Right.
And she did a review of back in the good old days of Trini and Susanna and what not to wear. And that was like, what, early 2000s?
God, yes.
When nobody wanted a booty, and now people are paying surgeons to give them one.
And it's like Kim K.
And we're going, hey, we got it naturally,
how long
darling.
she lied about her body and stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. Because if you want to do that stuff, I have nothing wrong with plastic surgery, lips, this, that, and the other. You do what you've got to do. I think it's great. But don't lie about it. Be honest about your changing.
Especially if you are so public. Because J-Lo, she actually came out and said that I'm sick to death of being told that I've done butt implants. I haven't. She's
always had that booty.
But she's always had the booty. She's Puerto Rican background, which gives her a genetic booty anyway. And she does, 250 squats every morning? So she's worked her own muscles to get that.
And that's
whereas Kim K is, what do you mean I've got a bum this big and I've not paid for it? Of course you have, love.
Yes.
That's not even natural.
And it's just like, and that's what gives people dysmorphia. I mean, when I lost the weight and, and I set up MissJigglePuff, and my first photo shoot, a guy from the fetish scene, great photographer, CJC, if you look at my photography, you will be able to see I'm in PVC dresses and this, that, and the other. I've been part of the fetish scene for many, many years. And, it's not as conceited or seedy as it sounds. It's just being part of a community that understands that you have kinks. It can be anything you like. Spanking. It can be, just you like to have your hair pulled a bit. That's still a kink. Don't let people kink shame you. If you just like having your hair pulled, you go for it. But anyway, I love a PVC dress. I like to be a little bit dominant and this, that, and the other. Women can be dominant, and we're usually better at it. Just saying. He was like, your tattoos are amazing. I want to do that. And I was like, do you know what? Let's do it. And he was like, what, you want to do full nude? And I was like, I need to do this. I want to do it for my niece. I want to do it for the people saying, I love your body. I want people to say, you've done so well with the weight loss, because I know that people still think it's okay to be like, wow, you've lost so much, you look amazing. Don't say that. Can you just say, you look really good? Because if people then say, thanks, I've lost a bit of weight and I feel really good about it, that's great. But if you say, God, you lost so much weight, and then people say,
you've lost weight, now you look amazing.
Yes.
No, sweetheart, you always look fabulous.
And I always say, no matter what size you are, you look amazing. But if you say to someone, you're looking really good at the moment, and if they say, thanks because I lost weight, then they feel good because they've lost the weight. But sometimes someone might just be glowing because of the outfit they're wearing, or because they've changed their hair, or they've got their nails did.
Or it's because of the style of clothing.
Yes.
And this is something else I've said. I'm a larger girl. I can't wear, because of my triple B, which is the boobs, the upper belly and lower belly, if I wear something to my proper waist, which is actually between my 2 rolls of belly fat, it looks horrendous. But if I pull that skirt up to my boob line, well, hey, suddenly I've got an hourglass figure and it looks fantastic.
Exactly.
And it's how you wear the clothes. So maybe they've just had a bit of fashion advice.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. It is awful to turn around to somebody and go, "Oh, now you look amazing." Now everybody is beautiful.
I had a lot of that, and I think a lot of people from certain families, it's a very old school mentality, and I don't get particularly offended all the time, but I think it's just about educating people as well, because for me, a lot of it was like, I became so in my head, like I said, about when I lost the weight and I hated my body. So I was like, right, I'm going to have a nude shoot. I don't like being naked by myself. If I'm so hot in my flat, or if I've just been with my partner or whatever, I will slide off the bed, put a vest on and a pair of pants, because I hate being nudie. So I'll be like, oh, I'm naked, put something on. So
whereas when I'm at home, I don't care. If I just got a pair of pants on, I'll just wander around the house. I don't give a in front of my partner, because he sees me like that anyway. But no, in front of other people, no. I'm a bit more...
this is the really strange thing. So when I went for this shoot, I was like in my leggings and this and he was like, okay, just take it a bit at a time. Colin was really great. He's a great photographer anyway. So I was like, okay. So I just went down to my bra and my leggings. Then I went down to my bra and my pants. And me boobies is nothing. I don't care about my boobies. They're natural boobies. They've got stretch marks. They're sagging a bit.
Tell me somebody who doesn't.
They sit on my belly. But you know what? I love boobies of all shapes and kinds. You embrace them boobies, girls, because boobies are fucking... they're ducking amazing. So then eventually I took off my leggings. My worst part is accepting my legs still. I'm still accepting my thunder thighs and the cellulite, but do you know what? Cellulite doesn't bother me anymore. It's me inner thighs when they're clapping, this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do this. And I had my first shoot. When you see photos from my first shoot, which now after I've done this and you put this up, this podcast, I'm going to post some of my photos from my first shoot because I don't think I've ever put any up. Or if I have, they've been like the ones that aren't so bad. But I'm going to show you how awkward I was compared to what I am now, because that journey was insane. You can see how comfortable I am being naked. The fact that I got my noonie out, because I don't do open leg and I don't do show my noonie. But I even text my friends when we sat down and had a break, and my cousin Kerry and my friend Sarah Collie, I said, oh my God, I'm sitting naked on Colin's sofa, fully naked. And they're like, what? You're never naked. And I was like, I know. So, and that's where it started for me. I was just like, I need to go full out. I need to look at my body and I need to see what the problem is. And I just looked at and I didn't recognize myself. I was like, who the hell is that? And I struggled for so long. And even sometimes now I look back at some of the photos and I'm like, that's not me. Because when I look in the mirror and I'm not glammed up and I've not done my hair or everything, I really do struggle sometimes with seeing the same person when I look in the mirror, or even if I look back at selfies in my phone. I really struggle. And that is part of the dysmorphia part. But I can get over it, and that is part of my mental health side.
So talking about the mental health side, obviously I know you personally that you've had a lot of trauma in your past and you've been on various medications. But following that photo shoot, what really kickstarted you into, and not what went on in your mind to say, now I want to accept myself? What started it, and where did you take it?
What started it was, even though I struggled with a lot of those photos, is when I put up a couple of the photos, I did another couple of shoots and stuff. I did a really great shoot with Crystal KJ Photography, who you've worked with. Yeah. She's amazing. Lovely little Clacton, Essex lady. She's absolute stunning. And oh my God, you've seen her PVC shoot she's done.
Yeah.
Absolute stunning model as well. And I did a boudoir shoot with her 50s style. Got some Betty Page lingerie from Playful Promises. And that was a completely different one. I almost completely did a U-turn. And I was like, do you know what? That was just a starter. Go for what you feel comfortable in now. And I've always loved rockabilly and stuff like that. So I kind of almost went for a persona. Yeah. Now, being bipolar, I call my voices... Dolly, which is kind of my fetish name anyway. and Priscilla. Dolly's the really manic one, and Priscilla's like the bitch.
I'll eat you alive.
Yeah, like leave me alone. I'm in a depression. And then so
you've basically got Dolly, who's you kind of flapper, manic, jiggly, really happy.
Yeah.
And then you've got Priscilla, who's the drag queen.
Priscilla, yes.
That's the one.
Yes. And she's more like the fetish side of things. So, you know, if I've got a whip in my hand in a photo shoot, you know, I'm feeling fierce. Don't mess with me. And then when I'm doing like my boudoir and I'm like all like, oh, cute, look at my eyelashes. Yeah. So I kind of went to Crystal shoot like with a persona.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do this because we need more. Women supporting women, men supporting men, everyone supporting everybody. Humans do humans. We need to support everyone. I'm going to put myself on the line. I don't care if I get criticised because I generally, the thing is, no, I've got the tattoo around my neck.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst nightmare. I generally don't give a flying duck. Got it right.
Got it right.
What anyone else thinks about me. So when you told me about your things, that kills me. Now, if I would have seen those comments, I would have been straight on there like, keep going, guys. You're just boosting this person's algorithm. She don't care what you think. Because... And
the stupid thing is, she actually sent me a picture of the likes, and at the time, I think I was 4th most liked picture.
Yeah.
At the time, you know, because you can go onto Instagram and you can do a history of your pictures, can't you? And it was like the 4th like picture. She went, I'm so sorry, you've got so many likes.
Yeah.
And it had something like 1,200 likes, which is probably the most I've ever had on any picture.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it like yesterday morning, and there's nearly 2,200 likes on that photo.
Yeah.
Yet there was all these people suddenly having a go at me. Yet there's 2,000 people sitting there going, actually, we like this.
But if you think of 60 comments to the 2,000 odd people that liked it, that's nothing. That's not even in the ratio.
It's always the ones that hurt. So how do you... I mean, I know I didn't let it ruin my birthday.
Good.
But it did ruin my birthday morning because that's the first thing I saw when I woke up. And I know people will go, well, don't check your phone first thing in the morning, but I was on holiday.
You're gonna.
I checked. There's 3 things I do when I get up in the morning. I check the news, I check the weather, I know certainly around this time of year, I've got a lot of people that have birthdays, my best friend.
Of course.
I always get the dates confused. So I check Facebook for birthdays and I check Instagram because of my YouTube.
That's normal. Most people check their medias.
And then it's not, you don't speak to your partner. He started work at 6 o'clock. This was 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
I didn't have to get up for work. So it was kind of a lazy morning. It was probably that kind of half an hour getting up, check my phone kind of thing. And it was just like, what the hell has happened? And I've not been on so much of a body positivity journey, but I'm trying. I mean,
and you have come so far from when I first met you. I mean,
Christ, yeah.
Your looks, your lookbooks you do, messing around with your style. I mean, when I met you, it was so goth, it was ridiculous. I mean, literally everything just black. You've got blue in your hair.
I know. I did go through a phase of having bright coloured hair for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just took it to black mainly because it was easier.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got... I always feel like you've refound yourself again. I didn't know you before, but it was like the photo shoot, you had a presence about you anyway, and then now you've just kind of, you are putting yourself out there, and when you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to get negativity.
Yes.
I mean, I do remember one negative comment, and it came from Emily Boo's, an Emily Boo fan who was around the twist. I mean, I'm mental, but I've got the certificate to say I am. But this girl was not even on that. She was I'm an agnostic. I do not hate religion. I'm very open to it. But this girl was a Christian God believer, and she was saying how God hated me, and that I was a sinner, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, do you know what? I don't usually fight with these people. But she was like, how does a 50-year-old woman post these pictures of herself? And I was like, okay, first of all, at the time I was only like 31. I was like, I think, or 32. I was like, excuse me, I'm not 50 years old, and I know I do not look that old. I was like, no, you don't. I've barely got a wrinkle. So I got very offended by this part. That was the part I got offended by. I'm not being called a sinner.
Excuse me, that God hates me. Yeah. I'm more offended you thought I had wrinkles.
I don't care if God hates me. Which one hates me? Because there's many gods out there for different people. And then I was just like, wow. And I was like, look, what's your problem? Do you have a mental health condition? Do you want to talk about it? So I've got a nickname called Mama Sheesh. because if someone comes at me, I want to try and help them because they've got an issue. They've been bullied or this, that, and clearly I could see this young girl. She was young. She was like 16. She was unhinged. So I was like...
You're allowed to say that these days.
Yeah, because she was. I mean, she was coming at me with all this hate. And I was like, do you know what? This is why I don't like the Bible. I was like, it's my least favourite because it's got spread so much hate. I was like, do you know what? Come at me with something new and something thing. I know a bit about the Bible. My granddad was Christian. I said, I've got Jewish heritage on another side. I said, come at me. I said,
got an Irish family, you probably got the born in Catholic piece as well.
Yeah, exactly. I said, so come at me with a valid piece of information from the Bible and I'll dispel it for you. And do you know what? I'm an educated person. I got an A in RE. That's the only A I got, but you've come at the wrong person. So she went quiet on me. So I think you just need to educate people. It's all about education, spreading your positive message and keeping yourself positive and putting your guard up, because you do need to keep a bit of a guard because these people are just ignorant. And that's my honest belief. At the end of the day, if you're just going to believe that, because also you have the negativity still out there of men in their high towers, and I will say mostly men, putting out cellulite creams still, which is absolute rollicks, putting out these creams that will make you better, make you prettier, make you thinner, make you this, make you that. It's all bollocks. It's like you cannot get rid of cellulite with a cream. It's impossible.
And I think there is that...
and they're profiting from it, from us.
Yeah, I think there's this inherited view. And I think I touched on it on a previous one where I talk about the fashion houses. Yeah. Now, you look at a lot of the big designers, they're men.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at Versace, Valentino, all these big Gucci, they all started by men on their perception of the ideal woman. And their perception of the ideal woman was somebody like Audrey Hepburn, that iconic Gucci black dress. Yeah. Now, all these fashion houses these days, although they say that they're starting to embrace a slightly larger bodies, and I think I read
the Met Gala.
Was it not the Met Gala? There was somewhere else.
The VMAs.
No, there was an Instagram post talking about how. No, I tell you what, it was a post by Snag Tights.
Okay.
On Facebook, and they were saying, how fashion houses and the fashion industry only think you can be cute in outfits if you're skinny, and they gear everything to the skinny person. But it's great that there's companies like Snag Tights, Seraphim Naima, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Thunder Thighs, all these little independent, even Exo Umbra that I keep plugging as well.
Yeah.
All these
There's also a company called New Girl Order, and they go up to size, I think it is 28 or even bigger than that, I think.
They do a 30 in some of their range as well.
And they're so good. I love them.
But even looking at, I've mentioned it previously as well, Yours Clothing that's meant to be for a bigger person, they start at 14. 14 is not plus size.
No.
The national average is a 16 to 18.
I think some of their clothes are so unflattering as well.
Unflattering sacks is what they are.
Yes.
They have no shape. They are baggy comfort fabrics these days that just don't do anything.
Some of the prints on their tops are so...
garish.
Your face when you just said that, garish.
Oh,
It's not just that. They're aimed at... people who are not meant to be seen. That's what I feel like. But can I just say as well, with the the VMAs and the Met Gala, I read a BuzzFeed thing, and it was all the plus size beautiful women. I mean, Melissa McCarthy, crush of my life.
Yes.
Lizzo beating on Instagram. I love her. Please watch her booty bouncing. It's amazing. And these women are all coming out saying, I can only get dressed every now and then. Now they're super, super famous. But when they first become famous, had their first big movie, could not get dresses.
But now the fashion houses want them to wear their outfits, so they will make something specifically for them. So you will probably
before they wouldn't dress them, and I think that's disgusting.
But what you'll probably find is someone like Melissa McCarthy has gone to 3 designers and
she's got her own company now.
I'm going to the gala, I want to wear this, and all her PR people have gone out and gone, right, this actress who is now mega famous, mega superstar, wants to wear your clothing, and they have rushed around and rallied around and made her a project. No, stop making women projects.
Well, she actually has a
human.
When I was reading it, they put Melissa McCarthy, and they said they a lot of places would just say, it just proves even when you're that famous and you've got the money to pay for it, places still don't want to dress her. But she's now got her own plus size company that makes these kind of things for other people. And I was like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting that even these, they're so beautiful as well. And I'm just like, do you know what? That really let me down, because I studied fashion at uni. I didn't finish it because I didn't know I was bipolar back then. And I quit and then spent the rest of my student money to go on holiday for 3 weeks. So, and I partied hard in Ibiza and Bulgaria. But anyway, and I love fashion. Yeah. But I think fashion is per person.
Yes.
And I think if you want to be a high street shopper, go for it. For me personally, I love a thrift shop before it became really popular. And
I have problems with thrift shops in the fact that the only things I ever see in stylish in thrift shops, and I hate to say it, is normally stuff that I've donated, because I go out of my way to find, and like I said, I'm quite privileged in the fact that I have no kids. I have a very well-paid job.
Yeah.
I can afford, not this year, obviously, because I'm not buying new clothes, but when I buy new clothes, I can afford to spend that extra £20 or £30 on something to get a brand that will fit me, rather than having to buy from thrift shops, which I have had to do.
What I love doing with thrift shops, though, is customising. It's
getting the sizes, because I'm bigger than you. It's getting the sizes for me. If
something doesn't fit me, so many times I've just cut it up, put more fabric in. I used to do it more.
I'm not that good.
To be fair, I haven't done it for years because I'm lazy as hell and I'm a crap sewer. But when I was a fashion student, I used to love it. And one of my favourite dresses that actually I did a shoot with Saria in, Saria Goy, Goy Photography, is my, I call it my cow splat dress, but it's I turned it into a boob tube because it was very tight. And I literally I had to be peeled out of it because I couldn't get it off. But it's now a boob tube top, and I put elastic in the middle, and it's because it was very flowy at the bottom. That was fine because big butt and thighs. But and then I wore a shawl thing over here from Ann Summers, and that was for my Carilla DeVille.
I remember that dress.
Yeah, and I love that dress. It cost me £3.20. And I still have it.
And luckily you have the talent to be able to do it, but there's a lot of people that maybe don't have the talent.
Don't look at the stitching. It's terrible. It's hand sewn. And it's not even proper stitching. It's like, when you have to kind of like do the rough stitching for the sewing machine. Just don't look at that. But it looks great in the photo.
As long as it holds together for the photo, that's all you need it for.
Yeah.
So obviously we're conscious of time here, that we have been talking for quite a while. What is your ultimate message to everybody? I mean, I know mine is, just do you. I put it in everything. Be who you want to be. Wear what you want to wear. Yeah. And screw the haters, basically. If you want to go out and you want to wear hot pants, and I mean, I recently did a review on a Thunder Thighs prototype product, which is a waist garter, coming out very soon, ladies. Keep a look, and gentlemen, you can wear it too. Yeah. And I went out in a pair of thigh-high socks, hot pants, sort of shorts, the shorts I wear under my dresses to cover my pants because I don't like to show them, and a dress that barely covered those shorts, and I couldn't have cared less. I felt so good.
Awesome.
And I know the dress was too tight for me, and I know it was more of a top, but do you know what? I felt sexy as hell in that outfit.
Hell yeah.
And I went down the local supermarket. So I'm now 44 years old, and I'm going out in hot pants and thigh-high socks, and I couldn't care less.
That's great. I love that.
And if other people, I got some people looking at me, and some people crossed the aisle, but other people smiled. And I'm trying now to focus more on the smiles and the kind of looks in people's eyes that go, oh, maybe I could wear that. Yeah. Or they've come up and asked me, oh, where did you get that? Or I love this, or I love that. And it's, something I've mentioned previously as well in another podcast is, the more eccentric my outfit is, the less hate I get.
Yeah, because people want to do that. Do you know how many, I'd say 40 plussers come up to me in the street? Because I tend to wear what the hell I want. I love mixing colours. I hate being matchy. And
see, that's one thing I can't do. I can't mix colour. I don't wear colour.
Do you know what? I love mixing all of my colours. And I get so many people come up to me. And even when I went to Morocco by myself to celebrate when I got discharged from the mental health team, and I made a kin of a friend there. She's a 60-something-year-old woman. You know, her husband had passed away. She was there by herself, could speak Moroccan perfectly because she learnt it in the hotel. She goes there every year. And she was wearing like this Jamaican moo dress. She travels all around the world by herself. And she saw me and she went, oh my God, you're just divine. And I was like, oh, it's me when I'm older. It's going to be me. Oh my God. Like, because I have so many people that do come up to me, and Emily and my friend Sophie, Emily Boo hates it. She's like, why do people always come and talk to you? I hate it. Because she's just like, everyone wants to speak to you. And I'm like, I don't know. And because people are like, wow, I love your outfit. Oh, I love your tattoos. Or because...
And it is something stupid. I went to Camden.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
I get people take my pictures in Camden. I love it.
I've had people taking my picture in Camden. We were literally walking through. We were both gothed up because we decided we were going to go out a little bit early, get something to eat, and then go out for the night in Camden. Yeah. And we were, I mean, I had that dress I wore for the modelling competition outfit. Okay. So the one with the lace cross back and the ruching at the front. Just a long summer dress. I must have got stopped 4 or 5 times by people going, excuse me, can you give me directions to such and such? And it's like, I'm not even local. I know where I am because it's Camden. It's my second home. But, you know, I wasn't seeing other people getting stopped and asked directions. Yeah. It was always me. Yeah. And even if I'm on my own and I'm gothed up, I will be the one that gets stopped and asked directions, even in my hometown.
It's good because I love, my message for people is stop the stigma, educate yourselves if you're not educated, or educate others. Not in a horrible way. Stop being snidey. Stop being like, oh, you're not wearing a brand. Brands don't matter. Support small businesses. Small businesses need the work. Do you know what I mean? They put in so much effort to create something that you love.
And they're more inclusive.
And they're more inclusive. And do you know what? If they haven't got your size yet, they're probably working on it. Big brands, the problem is, you know what, I'm still guilty. I still shop at Killstar sometimes. My New Year's resolution, don't buy anything full price because, I mean, Killstar, to be fair, they're not worth the full price in my opinion. But my New Year's resolution was not to buy anything full price. Everything's got to be in the sales because I'm guilty with my bipolar. When I'm manic, I buy stuff. And also, if I don't need it and I'm not wearing it, sell it on. My Depop is lit with stuff at the moment because I keep buying stuff. If I don't wear it within a month or so, if I haven't got plans for a photo shoot, I'm selling it.
I've still got stuff that I bought from Killstar that's got the labels on it. Yeah. And I bought it for a photo shoot and I put it on the other day going, oh, I'll do it for the one I'm doing. But I put it on and when it looks terrible, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still got the tag in it.
And I just think my biggest message is self-care and self-love come together. If you care for yourself and you start to appreciate yourself and self-acceptance, you know, I worked a body part at a time. I still don't like a lot of part of my body, and everyone's like, I wish it was as confident as you. My friends who know me know I'm not that confident. I have massive self-loathing issues. I have massive self-esteem issues. But you know what? I don't care what other people think because what you feel about yourself is the most important. So if you have these issues, you need to work on yourself because as well, these things can affect your relationships with your friends, your family, and your partners. And I really think to be the most happiest person you can be, you know, self-care is really important. Have that bubbly bath, have that bit of chocolate if you want it. Don't feel bad about it. If you feel like you've got dysmorphia and eating issues, go to the damn doctors because you deserve that help too. There's so many apps, there's so many mental health places. If you feel like you're struggling with your self-care and your self-esteem and stuff like that, it means that you probably do need some help as well. You can always message me on MissJigglePuff. I'm more than happy for a chat. If you need some style tips or anything, give people messages. That's what us people out there are there for as well. Like, I love chatting to people. Obviously, I talk a lot anyway, but I love chatting to people. I mean, my favourite things to get is when people go, oh my God, where did you get that? I now want that. Because if that means I've given someone else the knowledge or the thought of like, oh my God, I think I could wear that now. When I first started my MissJigglePuff, I'd get messages from like husbands saying, my wife has just gone out and wore fishnets. She hasn't worn them since she was in her 20s. And she's only like 30 something maybe, nearly coming up to 40. And he's so happy because she's happy. And I was just like, I think the first time I got a message like that, I cried a little, like got teary because I'm a bit stunted.
I think that goes back to what I've always said as well. Is like the best thing you can wear with your outfit is 2 things. Best accessories. An attitude and a smile.
Yes.
Because if you're smiling, smiles are infectious. Yes. If you're smiling in your outfit and you feel good, regardless of what you look like, regardless of what you're wearing and how you're wearing it, if you feel good and confident in your outfit and you go out with a smile, people aren't going to care if your butt looks a bit big or your skirt's a bit too short. You're happy, and that smile is infectious.
Smile, smize, and eye contact, baby.
That's the one.
And a little hair flick. That's what I do.
and for me, I think if with the body positivity thing is just get to know your body, love who you are, spend time with yourself.
Masturbate.
That as well. But, you know, get to know your body, because, you know, we all hear things like in the breast cancer awareness, get to know your own boobs. Yeah. Get to know all your body. Get to know if it's changing, and you may need to go to a doctor. Yeah. If you are feeling like you really loathe a part of your body and, you know, it's getting you down, maybe go and talk to a professional. You know, we can give you all the advice in the world, but professionals are there for a reason. They have the degrees that we don't.
And you deserve the help. Don't feel like you don't deserve the help.
Everyone deserves help.
I mean, I've just turned 34 and I'm only just getting the help this year, and I'm going to trauma therapy. I'm going through all things. And you know what? I should have done this 10 years ago. I've been through various therapies, anger management, all sorts. And you know what? You got to take care of yourself, because I wish I had done this years ago. My life would have been different. And you know, you can't have regret. You know, you don't forget things, but you can move on. But your past you've got to be accountable for your past. But you can't use your past as an excuse for who you are now.
And don't let it define you going forward.
Do not. My favourite quote by Oscar Wilde: "To define is to limit." If you define your past, if you let your past and your present define your future's going to be limited. Definitely. So just be you, get on with it. Life is so hard, so can we just love each other, please support,
and yourselves, love yourselves.
If
you have a big bum, embrace it. If you have big boobs, embrace it.
If you have a tongue, give it a little squish and a little rub. I love to slap mine every now and then because she's cute.
She's cute. And you know, we can give you all the styling advice you need. We can give you all the love over this microphone that you need. But at the end of the day, the person who needs to love you more than anyone else is yourself. Yes. And much as I don't believe in you need to love yourself before anyone else can love you, you know, my partner loves me, and it's taken me, we're 12 and a half years into our relationship, and it's taken me 8 of those years to start loving me. And yeah, there's part of my body I still dislike, and there's other bits that I wish I could change. But I've got to that age of now accepting who I am, and I will wear what I want. I will continue to wear what I want. And if someone else tells me that I need to change any part about myself, maybe they need an attitude adjustment, because I shouldn't have to change who I am to fit their perceptions of what beauty is.
Yes. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Definitely.
Amen.
And you are the beholder of yourself.
Yes.
So on that note, I'm going to thank Miss Jigglepuff for being here today. She's been a wonderful help on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I hope that this new format, I don't know how many we're going to get like this, but I'm going to try. I hope this new format is good. I'm hoping to come back and have some other conversations with her, because I'd love to go down more the mental health route with you as well, if you're up for that. So yeah, but thank you very much for listening. I'm going to sign off, and always remember, whatever you do in life, just do you.